Oh, yes. What is sure to be a very special Friday night. No, I'm not adding Smiley, although who knows what happens an hour from now. All right. There he is. Doug,
Jerry, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Wait, first off, shout out to everyone disappointed that it wasn't Amanda Bynes. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys. If anyone is in touch with Amanda's people, just let me know. But we're gonna have to save that one for another time. We've got more important business. Doug, you look very clean shaven right now. Is this a new thing?
I finally shaved for the first time in about 3 weeks.
Okay.
Still haven't gotten a haircut.
No. It feels like you were pretty short to begin with, because the hair is still staying intact. You're within the margin of error. It's not too crazy.
It could go either way. But I like to be a little more clean shaven, put together. But
Sure.
under the circumstances, I haven't let anyone touch me in a hell of a long.
Well, cheers to that, man. Cheers to having to, at this point, we still have to caveat absolutely every opinion, every introduction that we have to anyone with under the circumstances. So, another time we may have a full BNN session on how long until we don't have to say under the circumstances, given the circumstances, before we say anything in life. So we'll have to see how that goes. But
well, you saw today, Fauci came out and says, maybe we shouldn't be locking down and to come out of it. And
well, we'll get to some of the who, where, what, and how of our current COVID situation, past, present, future. Whether he was commenting on the lockdown initially, or what the status is right now, and whether or not we should come out. I think, as from our many group chats that we've been in together, I have different views on whether we should have locked down initially, as opposed to, okay, maybe it's time to start picking up the fucking pace on opening. So, that's something that we're going to get to.
Beginning, right? I mean, we had no idea this thing came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Human instinct is to think about the worst. That's exactly what we did. And as we gain more data and learn from it, I think we've learned, and I think we could talk about.
Sure. We'll get around to that for sure. Obviously, Tony Daly, already making a very pedestrian effort to troll in the comments. Tony, you're going to have to bring more than what you brought so far. I want to see you really ramp it up between now and the end of the session. Okay, so Doug, currently you are the president of Entrepreneurial Properties Corporation, one of the largest developers, owners of multifamily residential housing in the United States. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about EPC and what you guys do for them? What you do for them?
We own around close to about 28,000 units across the Southwest, Midwest, Southeast. We do everything from ground up development, managing, acquisitions, you name it, we do it. So we've seen a little thing from apartments all the way to, we'll call them B-.
Got it. We're having a little bit.
That's
how's your
Wi-Fi
over there?
My Wi-Fi is good. It's just someone called me and I put it on airplane mode, but someone still got through, so I had to.
Okay. Well, whatever. Nothing can stop this freight train of a conversation. Okay, so Doug, you guys are pretty expansive geographically and territorially. What states, what cities are you guys mostly in? Because you're based in California, but that's not necessarily where your knowledge base is.
We're Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Georgia. Let's see, I forget any, and New Mexico as well. So we're Southeast, Midwest, Southwest. Yeah.
Got it. Something we're going to launch into an interesting topic right off the bat. one topic that's been a really robust conversation, in the media, in social media, amongst the business community, is the potential of a mass migration of urban professionals who have been living in cities for the necessity of the opportunity there, because that's where they work, that's where the companies are that are headquartered, that they work for, and that remote work and the advancement of remote work is now going to release those people to go and live in other territories, go check out, not have to pay the real estate costs of living in Los Angeles, San Francisco, DC, New York.
Right.
And they're going to start migrating in pretty significant figures and volume.
Check out Austin, Texas. I mean, Austin, Texas is a cool place. We got an office out there. No state tax. I mean, property tax is a little high, but that extra 13% goes a long way. So,
For sure.
And it's very fun, cool city, right on the river, right on the lake. Whatever you want to do there, they have. And Texas is a booming state right now. They have thousands of people moving from California every week, and
okay, so that brings up an interesting point. Obviously, you've been the prospect of lots of particularly people in the tech world moving to Austin, Texas. That's not a new thing. That's not something that was necessarily initiated by COVID and the lockdown, right? Even an individual who worked for my brother's company is like, "Hey, Andy, I want to move to Austin. Can I still work for the company?" He said, honestly, we like you. We can figure out how to make this work. Go move to fucking Austin. You're still working for our company. Well, but now, in response to COVID, in response to the lockdown, and this mass, transformational event, what are you anticipating? I mean, are your plans changing in the past 8 weeks? Have you guys shifted? What the game plan is for the next couple of years in development? Like, listen, we're gonna have to be building more. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, there's gonna be a huge need for affordable housing across the country, and as you can see, with the death of retail, just sped up by this COVID-19, these strip centers and even malls in let's say, secondary, tertiary markets, they're not going to be able to function. You just saw Great Mall of America has for what was 2 months. I mean, that says it right there.
Just to so everyone's clear on it, there's the Mall of America, one of the more notable, it's the largest mall in America. It's one of the more notable malls. And I mean, there's a story, and something that we talk about is that you anticipate that the bigger players, the Class A, or the Class A plus players are going to do pretty well because they're capitalized. They have the scale. They have the oomph with. If you've got a landlord and you're someone like the Mall of America, you kind of got the landlord by the balls, because who the fuck are they going to get to go take your spot, right? And go take over that lease. But even the Mall of America, or maybe that's what's driving the Mall of America's strategy, is that they know that they're landlords in a difficult position, so they just decided to not. They're a couple months behind on their rent, but that's clearly a sign of
that the landlord of Mall of America is receiving forbearance from the government, right? So he's not paying his debt service to his lender, right? And that's the Mall of America knowing, hey, he's not paying, so we're not going to pay either. And that's basically what we're seeing across even multifamily housing, right?
Okay.
Is this, the rumor, everyone, do we have to pay our rent? Well, technically, yes, you got to pay your rent, because one day someone's going to come knocking for it, right?
Sure.
But if your landlord is receiving forbearance, they cannot formally evict you. They can't evict you. So you do not technically have to pay rent if your landlord is receiving forbearance.
Okay, so let's get into that. And one of the kind of consistent topics throughout a lot of my conversations is the interconnectivity of the economy, and how, in most situations, most casualty situations in response to a bunch of fires, an earthquake, even violence episode, war. Not that happens in the United States, but it seems the blast radius is measured. It doesn't translate to the entire economy, but the COVID response really shows the interconnectivity of the economy and how complicated it is that, you know, tenants are affected, so landlords are affected. Landlords are affected, so lenders are affected. Lenders are affected, so the government's affected, which means the taxpayers. So tell us, you know, a little bit what you're seeing from, you know, tenants to landlords. We'll start with tenants to landlords, and then landlords to lenders, and then, you know, we'll move on from there.
Well, from the tenants, from our perspective, I mean, we see people are still paying rent. Our team, our staff, our managers, our agents at these projects, they create a bond with a lot of the tenants there, and they make it known that, hey, if you're not paying your rent, I can't feed my kid. You know, the maintenance staff can't work, and so on and so forth, right? So we're doing a good job of putting people on payment plan if they're not able to pay all at once, and that's helping people out. And then you go to the lender to the landlord level, and with the CARES Act and a couple other GSE like Freddie and Fannie, they have their own.
Give us a real quick. Let's go. If you could just get into the CARES Act just for a second, so everyone, you know, has a framework to look at that through.
Right. So the CARES Act, a bunch of different stuff in it, throughout all different types of the economy. But for real estate and for multifamily, personally, the CARES Act states that if you need forbearance, that they will give you 3 months.
Okay.
Started off at 3 months, that you don't have to pay your rent, right? Now, the big guys, this isn't really affecting. So there's a kind of there's a catch-22 in this. The big guys, the big, you know, big national, the Carlyles, the Gray Stars, these big multi-billion-dollar companies, publicly traded companies, they aren't going to be affected with it because they have cash on hand, and they could ride this one out.
Okay, so and this is something that you're talking about, is that the larger developers, I mean, I'd imagine some of them are also REITs. They don't need to go hat in hand to the bank and go renegotiate.
Yeah, it's the institutional money where they're looking for a place to park their money from their investors, right? And get a percentage back every year.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay, so that's the situation that the lenders are in. So that with the care, that you know, with the landlords dealing with their lenders, you know, you've got the bigger players who don't have to try to renegotiate. But
right.
You've got a lot of smaller. I mean, if you mentioned what a threshold is. If you're someone who's going and trying to do a $10 million development project, or you know, you're someone that has, I mean, let's call it 20. You know, let's not 28,000 units, but maybe 800 units, something like that.
Right.
A low 8-figure developer. I mean, those are people that are in a tough squeeze right now. Absolutely.
They're the ones that their margins are razor thin. So that you know, they're able to, there's a threshold. So let's say if you're collecting 75% of your occupancy, that just keeps the lights on. That's nothing else, right? That's that. So everything after that, that's your income, right? So for those people that aren't paying rent in these smaller developers, and they don't have a good relationship with the bank, I mean, they're having a tough time if they want to start building on a new deal, right?
Sure.
The lenders have pretty much cut them off. But with the CARES Act, like we're getting back to that, they have as much time as they need pretty much right now during this COVID-19 pandemic. But it is amortized. So if they don't pay their debt service for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever it is, it's amortized over the next 12 months. So
is that set? Is the 12-month amortization period, is that pretty much locked in? Okay, that's interesting.
With Freddie and Fannie, yes. The government-sponsored enterprises, yeah, absolutely. It's locked in. Now with life companies and different other banks, they have different rules, and smaller local banks might work with you a little differently. I'm not really prone to that because we deal more with Fannie and Freddie with our lending.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean they'll work with you with that long, but they'll either balloon payment at the end on some of these banks, or they'll amortize it, or I've heard even that they'll give them 12 months starting from the time that they could start paying the rent.
Okay, so for anything that's Fannie and Freddie related, 12-month amortization, that's what we're staring at. I mean, stuff that falls outside that scope. I mean, have you been hearing these conversations? You know, are they going to try to compress the amortization and get them to pay more quickly? Are they taking a wait? Are some of the banks taking a wait and see approach? Where like, listen, you know, we don't want to have to go foreclose, man. This is not the business that we're in. We expected this to be a quality loan. We didn't think this was going to be a junk loan. We're going to let you pay over 18 months.
I think they're trying not to repeat 2008. They don't want foreclosures. They don't want defaults, and they're going to work with these people and these businesses and these mom and pop shops as best as they can. But at the end of the day, people do slip through the cracks, and you're going to see some of this. Now, from a development perspective, just seeing how retail has just been crushed by this COVID-19. These strip centers and malls, that's an area that has very desirable locations, right? And those are areas that will probably go out of business and just sit there vacant, and a developer like myself will come in, and I think the next crunch is going to be affordable housing. And now the government will probably have to set up something like HUD on steroids.
Wow. So you think an entire new department, an entire new program?
I don't think one, HUD is it. To get a HUD loan, you need to know someone who knows someone to hook you up, and there's only a few people. It is a racket, right? I mean,
wow. Interesting.
It's a small group, and that's all they do. And they have consultant. You pay $50,000 for a HUD consultant who knows someone at HUD who says, "Oh yeah, let this guy get a HUD loan," right? So that's how the HUD process works, right?
Feels a little corrupt for a government program.
Absolutely. I mean, it's beginning to see. You see that a lot as you onion, right? So
totally. So we're going to get to the malls and repurposing of property in a second. But there's a point that you made about HUD just there that also seems to filter through both, the landlord-tenant relationship and the lender-bank relationship. And that's something that in real estate, people view real estate very quantitatively. Listen, you plug you run the numbers, you know what the rents are. You drive that at scale, and you try to bang out, like you said, your income above whatever the occupancy is to keep the lights on. But as you mentioned just now, right? You've got, you guys are collecting. If someone told me that you guys would be collecting above 90% of the rents that available in this situation, that sounds crazy to me. But you're doing it because you hired well. You've got quality management. Okay, so you have that personal touch there.
Comes in, and it's really, we're collecting around 80%, 81 over the.
Still very good. Still very good.
No, for a normal month, that's awful. That's
sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like I said, 75% is keeping the lights on. That's just not coming out of pocket to get 75%. So that's where our teaching and working with our on-site staff comes in big, and we're knocking on doors. We're calling people and telling them, hey, every little bit helps. We'll put you on a payment plan. We'll do different things. And they seem to have bought into it and have done a great job paying rent. And also with the $2,400 a month, that's been once that started getting into their bank accounts, we've seen an uptick in people paying.
Okay, that's good to know. Because a lot of people in the media will try to portray this as a very adversarial relationship between landlords and tenants that, potentially tenants that are struggling, don't have money, and landlords banging down their doors, putting pressure on them. But listen, you've got a business to run. You don't want to put anyone in a tough position. You've got personnel and you've hired so that you have people out there having the conversations, able to use their own business judgment to say, this person may actually truly have financial difficulties, and we're going to try to work something out with them. These other people who don't have who don't necessarily have those financial difficulties, who can still pay, we're not going to be jerks to you. We're going to try to just have a conversation, and that's a piece of real estate and piece of property ownership that's just critical, and probably separates the successful people from the people who aren't really able to make headway.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to be that one guy, that one company evicting people during a pandemic, right? So we're doing everything we can to work for our tenants and help them out, let them know that they're safe where they're at, and as long as they're responsive and they're communicating with us, I mean, we'll work with them and make sure that they have a roof over their head.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, I think that's it, and that's what I've seen. As an attorney, I mean, across, once again, not just landlord-tenant situations, but any types of deals that have been disrupted. It's like, listen, let's just have a good faith conversation and try to come to a compromise. And the same point translates to what you said about if all the developers and the property owners are borrowing, they've all got banks, but you've got the people who've got good relationships with their banks and have developed those, and you've got people who are just arm's length and there's not really any intimacy or connection, and they're gonna have. Who do you think's going to the front of the line right now?
Absolutely, a company like us. I mean, that's just because they know their investment's safe with them. When a bank gives you that loan, they want to know that you have the experience, that you're not going to default, you're not going to have a cost overrun of $2 million on your development. You're not going to run this property into the ground, and they want to know that their investment's safe. Absolutely. And right now, banks are tightening up. It's just the way it is.
Okay, so interesting. How much are they tightening up? I mean, what's the delta between, what an LTV was 6 months ago to now, to what a required down payment was 6 months ago to now, what the diligence process and underwriting was, to the extent that you have insight into that?
I mean, it's definitely probably 65%, even maybe 60% LTV.
Wow.
Going for a mid-level company. For us, I mean, it's anywhere from 75 to 80 LTV. So we get more of a break. Isn't it funny? The people that need the money, the banks don't lend it to. The people that don't need the money, they lend it to.
Yeah.
It's so backwards, but it's just the way it is. But so that it varies. And if you're just you're syndicating a deal with your country club and some friends and family, good luck trying to find a loan in this area.
Yeah, just to the lay people out there, what Doug's referring to is listen. Some people are in a good financial position, but they're not real estate developers necessarily. It's not their primary business, but they're sitting on some cash. They can't necessarily on their own get into an interesting property deal, but hey, or they don't want to. They don't want to put that much of their personal wealth at risk. But they go in on an interesting deal with 4 or 5 other friends. They put up a significant amount of money.
Right.
This is real money. We're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And that's real money. But in this environment, you're just getting where everyone needs assistance and everyone's competing for the same liquidity.
Right.
It's just a very tough road to hoe.
And in the multifamily market over the last, let's call it 10 years, been the sexy asset class. I mean, there's so much foreign money that is poured in.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
To these primary, even secondary market, that it's driven cap rates down so much that you're not cash flowing your deal. You're just that's an appreciation play with cap rates very low. And now those guys are going to get killed right now because with no cash flow, apartments aren't valued what they were 3 months ago, right? So it's it's going to be a very, very interesting next 6 months to a year to see what goes on and what happens.
Yeah, what are you anticipating in terms of some of those cap rates? I mean, are they going to recover, and are you going to be trying to find, your focus on and anticipation on properties that are going to return you cash month to month, year to year, or okay, we're going to get properties. We've got a big depression and a big drop in prices because of circumstance. Those circumstances will be lifted. So we're going to try to get so let's go back to, an era, 2009, 2010. We're going to try to get properties that are really low value. And, listen, we're going to make money day one because we're going to get something for for 70, 80 cents on the dollar, as long as we can hold on to it for at least a few years.
I don't think we're going to see that like we saw in 2008, after 2008. I just don't think the government is going to allow that to happen again with the foreclosure. But I do believe that there will be deals and cap rates will go up a little bit and make it worth your while to pursue deals. I mean, it got to a point there a few months ago, 6 months ago, where, I mean, you couldn't even, make a deal work to flow cash. Just there's so much foreign money coming in from China that are just trying to place it here and own something and just know that the America real estate is a safe investment. They're not going to lose it. They're not trying to make anything, but they're not trying to lose it, right?
Okay, so let's get deep into that. Okay, and I think this is there are more than a handful of topics related to China and China's part, both the government and, once again, not knocking the citizens, but, Chinese commerce and its impact on various markets in America over the past 10 years that I think people don't realize. They definitely, it's another conversation, but Americans have no clue how much the Chinese movie market has influenced the American film market. They have no clue. So I also think they don't quite understand the impact that the Chinese money and Chinese investors have had on the domestic real estate market. So you tell us, you're saying, listen, they're not even looking to make money here. They just got the money from all the manufacturing work that we've sent them for 25 years.
Yep.
We send them manufacturing, they make money, they filter the money back in here to be a little safer, a little more stable, and juice up the prices and fuck it up for everybody.
Exactly. That's exactly what's happened over the last, call it 10 years. I mean, that's exactly, you said it to a T in multifamily. But then you look, I mean, this pandemic, and switching to another, back to retail, I mean, this has accelerated the death of retail. I mean, it really has. So as a developer, I'm looking at desirable locations where there's strip malls, where even malls, because I'm knowing that these companies, these malls aren't going to make it. The brands are.
Yeah.
I mean, let me list off the fastest growing retail brands over the last year. Number 1, Lululemon. Number 2, Costco. Number 3, Amazon. Number 4, Target. Number 5, Walmart.
Okay.
Let me tell you the fastest declining: Under Armour, H&M, Walgreens, Tim Hortons, Subway, and Burberry. Okay, so that just tells you a little something right now of where retail's going.
It's rough, Tim. Oh, fucking Tim Hortons, man. I've never been more disappointed in my Canadian brothers and sisters than when the national treasure, the cornerstone key, like what Coca-Cola or McDonald's is to America, Tim Hortons is to Canada, and they took in a big cash infusion from the Chinese recently. Listen, Tim Hortons, I understand it's tough times right now. We're all trying to survive, but listen, we can't be in a position. This situation is exposing the negative impacts of Chinese financial independence, and you're just going to go double down on that. It was very disappointing from Tim Hortons.
And I see Walgreens on there. Someone, January, said Walgreens. Yeah, Walgreens is down 26% from last year. So
it's rough. Okay, so let's dive into this. All right, we've got
and not to mention the J.C. Penney filing for Chapter 11, sure. Neiman Marcus, J. Crew, they all filed for bankruptcy. So when a Neiman Marcus, right, filing for bankruptcy, things are going on, right?
Yeah. And another topic that is not new to the situation that we're in right now, that was percolating, there was a bit of a trickle over the past, during the over the last decade, and everyone was anticipating some sort of more significant event. Nobody saw this coming, but now this is what has accelerated it. That you're going to have all these massive. I mean, there's one in Beverly Hills. It was right near my high school. There was a Robinson's May. Right. It was an odd place. It was in a very oddly placed Robinson's May. And we're like, this is a big.
Can you tell me what's there now?
It's the Waldorf Astoria, right?
Oh, yes, exactly.
There you go. Okay. So to give everyone a little background, LA is designed very oddly in that Santa Monica and Wilshire, two of the major streets, intersect at a very odd angle. And right where they intersect is a famous hotel called the Beverly Hilton, owned by Benny Algem. Shout out to John Algem. There, right next door, there was a massive Robinson's May department store. This was a legitimate, I don't know how many square feet, but you'd imagine that this was a highly trafficked department store. There were years where no one would go into it because it was so difficult to get to. Then it pretty much went out of business, and it sat there just dormant for, it had to be 5, 6, 7 years. This massive Robinson's May, multinational brand, just sitting there in the middle of fucking Beverly Hills, dead. They finally took it after major, tens of millions of dollars were spent in lobbying and marketing.
Trying to entitle it because California has so much red tape.
Yeah.
Thing done, and that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah, someone could fucking write a book on what went on with this Robinson's May property. Finally, they blasted through it to blast through and get a Waldorf Astoria hotel built there. And that was something that happened maybe 3 years ago. And it's very evident of what you believe is going to happen. You believe is going to happen with a lot of these other properties nationwide, malls, big box retail stores, mini malls, that are simply, regardless of all these solutions and all these band-aids that we've discussed in this conversation, are not going to make it. And what's going to happen? This is your business. You're right in the thick of this. What are you, companies like yours, planning to do, and what do you envision with these types of spaces?
Well, like the Rodeo Drives and the Fashion Islands. Those aren't going, right. That's staying. Those are showrooms. They're not trying to make money on those locations. The rent's just way too high.
Lost leaders.
Yeah, but they're desirable. They're the best locations in the country. They're show stores. They're showroom stores, and that's what they are. But for all these other little malls outside of town and in little small towns all across the country, that now you're shopping on on Amazon, Shopify, or whatever it may be, that's where you're getting your stuff. You're not going into those malls. And yeah, maybe you're going into a couple of the stores, but a couple of the stores aren't going to be able to lift that mall and support it. So a developer like me, knowing that we are going to have an affordable housing crunch in the next, I'd say 5 to 10 years, that's the next thing. I'm going in there, I'm buying up that land, I'm getting it re-entitled, and I'm building affordable housing.
Okay, so when you say affordable housing crisis, because this is something that's a bit foreign to me, I hear lots of my friends in real estate talk about it, but it's something that I haven't wrapped my mind around quite broadly enough.
Housing, it's living in, let's call it Santa Monica, and only being able to pay $500 a month in rent, right? Okay, you're not gonna that's being affordable. So for the people that come in and work in Santa Monica, that can't, that are the janitors or the bus boys or whatever it may be, and don't want to commute, they have affordable housing through HUD, where you only pay $500, $400, whatever it may be a month, and that's it. And you can't raise the rent. So, so the government then offers tax breaks and, you know, puts up the money to build those properties.
For
And
sure. For sure.
makes money through development fees and different things like that.
Yeah, and interesting. And you mentioned when we discussed this, you know, in side conversations previously, you know, you went directly to mixed use, and there's a comment in the comment section about my family lives in a small town. They're gonna go. There's no other retail. They have to go to the mall. They have to go to the mini mall. So,
right.
What do you think the social dynamic is going to be? Because clearly, you're not just looking to build. You're not looking to build multifamily. You're looking to build mixed use. You know there needs to be some retail there because you know there's no reason not to build mixed use to have living space, but also retail space.
Where there's a boutique, there's a cleaner, there's a restaurant, there's a bunch of different businesses downstairs that you just go down to, that you live at, and you do your shopping, you do your dry cleaning, you do even grocery shopping. There's some like that, and it's all right there.
Do you think there's going to be community spaces? Are you, because some of these, you know, you're able to build like a little courtyard, some seating space. I mean, obviously it matters the property, but I imagine that's part of the equation too, where it fits.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma, where we own a big chunk of apartments, they just redeveloped a whole, I'd say, 10 miles of just parkland. And they just did just a community parkland where they put in like a green belt and a lake and different things like that. I mean, there's different activities, but it's just for the community members. It's jogging trails, bike paths, you know, boating with your feet, you know, whatever it is like that on the lake. But it's trying to take away from the pack.
Well, I think this could be a silver lining to all of this, right? In that if some of the kind of the bones, kind of the foundation and blueprint and city layout of a lot of cities has not changed in generations. And you look at other countries and you look at them and they feel like the 21st century, and the U.S. still feels like the 20th century. There aren't as many spaces that, like New York, I will commend New York in building the High Line, for instance. The High Line is something that feels like, okay, this is a great thing for the residents of this town, of this city, to enjoy. Random Sunday, they don't have anything to do, go walk the High Line, and that's an enjoyable experience. And most towns should have something like that, and they don't. And this may prompt or create the space for other cities that make it, that it was financially viable, but it was just too much trouble to build, like you mentioned, parks and lakes and things of that nature. And now this is going to create the opportunity, or at least accelerate the process of developing some public spaces better.
I couldn't agree more. I think that the government is definitely going to do that with some of these strip centers, some of these malls, and office space as well. I mean, they could, instead of Amazon Prime, it's going to be Amazon next 2 hours. You know what I mean? So
yeah, so that's interesting. You think Amazon's coming strong and hard at a bunch of office space, both to house their knowledge employees, their white collar employees and executives, but also to turn into pretty much warehouse and supply space.
Yeah, they're going to turn them into mini fulfillment centers in each town, each city. And instead of getting your package the next day, you're going to get it in the next 2 hours.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you know, Americans, if there's anything we know Americans need, is to buy more shit. So it's good that they'll be able to fulfill that a little more quickly.
Hopefully we could start making that shit in America.
Yeah. Hey, we're looking at it. It's the hope, right? It's the hope that this has been the wake-up call that we need. We need to shift manufacturing back to the U.S., and I think this has been a worldwide wake-up call. Obviously, this is one of my greatest hits album. I love this topic. It's been one that it caught my eye a little while ago. You know, we can go in a lot of different directions on this, right? You're looking at stuff that is simple, like apparel. I have tons of apparel clients and have for years, and it's just kind of accepted that if they're making something and designing stuff in China, that whoever their Chinese factory is just going to rip off their designs, produce some stuff based on that, sell it out the back door of the factory into other markets, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it.
Haven't they been doing that to us for the last 20 years?
They have been doing it to us for the last 20 years. I think one layer, the early adopters woke up early in the 2010s and started finally figuring that out and started being conscious of it. Then some of the slightly more China hawkish types like myself started really realizing this the last 5 years.
And Biden went to China on an Air Force Two, and his son came away with $1.5 billion a couple of days later.
Sure.
From the
we will get into some right-wing politics in just a second. Let's not get it twisted. We know that we are speaking. We have a dispatch from Laguna Beach, so we know which direction this conversation is going in. One of the many, but you're not wrong. Listen, I think politicians say what you want, and I've said this publicly many times. Say what you want about Donald Trump. He was the first politician of either party to step up and call out China and take the fight back to China, and that's why I cut him a lot of slack on items that I otherwise would not. And yeah, there's definitely a concern in the political economy right now that, you know, for all of Donald Trump's faults, we need someone who's going to fucking, you know, take the fight to fucking China, and he's probably the only one who's willing to do it. Well, and that Joe Biden's not going to do it.
Could you imagine Donald Trump saying what Joe Biden did today? What would happen to Donald Trump?
Yes, let's be honest. There's a complete asymmetry in the way the media treats Gaffey's commentary, racial commentary, and you know, I think today was a big day in American politics. Today was a big day in American politics. That
don't vote for me.
Yeah, well, listen, I said it right now, you know, and I've been saying it for a long time. That I've been saying it for about 7 years now. That the left wing has engaged in this strange racial pathology over you know, that has tried to weaponize any conversation around race to make a lot of people look racist when they're just trying to have good faith conversations. And if anyone makes kind of a kind of casual or stupid remark, they treat it like it was triple murder. And you know something? It's going to cut both ways. If you want to have it one way and you want to, anytime someone on one side,
both sides. That's all I want. I want it fair on both sides. So
I want to call balls and strikes. Absolutely.
All women when it's Kavanaugh, but when woman comes out about Joe Biden, we got the Me Tooers with socks in their mouth, right? I mean, they don't say a word, right? So tell me about that.
Yeah, no, listen, I think we're all looking for, and what I hope for is objectivity. The chances that happens, very low. Yes, but I do think that the left wing, you know, has tried to weaponize conversations around identity groups and is not operating in good faith regarding these conversations. And today, listen, a couple situations recently around Joe Biden have come back to really, if you're looking at the people like me who are unaffiliated, who are centrists, okay? Because there's more of me than people think. It's just that I'm one of the few who speaks up loud, okay, of centrists. So there's more of us who just want someone to fucking be honest. And they're looking at this and they're like, all right, if you're going to have this conversation about Me Too and believe all women, and then someone makes an accusation about Joe Biden, and all of a sudden you abandon all those principles about believe all women, you look like fucking hypocrites. If you want to treat every racially insensitive comment like it's triple murder, like someone just fucking sent someone to the gas chamber, and then your side does that and you try to excuse it, you're going to look like hypocrites. Well, and you know, the left has been exposed on that in that regard.
Logic has gone out the window. There is no logic anymore on the left. There is not.
There's no more logic of the people with
homophobic, misogynistic, xenophobic, everything. That's their playbook.
Listen, I'm gonna defend the left in this regard. That I think, unfortunately, the loudest voices on the left have taken over. And I know a lot of people, and listen, I know a lot of.
It's not logical anymore. That's
sure.
Where I'm socially liberal. I'm right there in the center with you, buddy. But
you're not, but I love you anyways.
The left has gone so far left and so off the deep end that it's not even the left anymore. This is a fringe group of party that has hijacked the Democratic Party.
Absolutely. Well, I think, you know, if there's
Biden is Biden has AOC as his climate coordinator.
Well, that is a problem, and this is something that I discussed. If you want to find left-wing people, the gentleman I spoke with last night, Chris Arnade, if you watch that, you want to talk about an honest, rational left-winger who's like, I'm not into any of this weaponizing social stuff. Listen, I'm just trying to make the economy work better for working class people. That's what I'm, and so I don't want any of this hypocrisy. All it does is make my job harder.
Work better for working class people. What is that? What is the Democratic point on that? What is their position on that now?
I think there's one group.
Rich, is that it? I mean, is that it? That's that.
No, well, listen. Let's be honest. Doug. There's a space on the political spectrum where Republicans like a Josh Hawley, like a Matt Gaetz, and even like a Donald Trump are veering more towards tradition. There's a space where
democratic views, absolutely,
and that's it. And I think that's if people want to start having an interesting political conversation, they're going to look for the space where Bernie Sanders supporters and Donald Trump supporters converge.
Yeah,
and there's more space there than people think.
They are much more similar than a Joe Biden supporter.
Exactly. No. Listen, I've said it many times. The people on the left that I affiliate with and that I like are a little more.
Like who? Name some people.
They're not national figures. The guy I spoke with last night, Chris Arnade, Michael Tracy, Matt Stoller. These are people who are more populist. And if you want to listen to Steve Bannon will say exactly what I'm saying right now. He's like, listen, there's space where right-wing populists and left-wing populists converge, right? But what they don't do, they don't engage in this bullshit social justice identity
and that
nonsense.
That's what's killing the Democratic Party. Is this
absolutely?
I'm woke, he, she, it pronoun thing.
Yeah, we'll keep it. I have more to say on that topic, so we'll address that specific one in another conversation. But I think the point being, Donald Trump benefited in 2016 from abandoning some Republican orthodoxy and actually he triangulated a few left-wing economic issues.
Right.
Actually, him and like I said, if you go back and look at Donald Trump's 2016 speeches, you know who he never said a bad word about? Bernie Sanders. Because he's like, listen, Bernie's right on a few things. We need to abandon free trade. We need to reestablish an industrial policy. We need to preserve some of the social safety net. There was more convergence between Trump and Bernie Sanders than anyone seems to. Anyone in the mainstream does not want to acknowledge how much some Trump supporters and Bernie supporters seem to converge.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But I also think that he didn't talk about crazy Bernie because Bernie's a little crazy. So.
Well, listen, no, but okay. Even the Bernie fans, listen to Michael Tracy, who I'm going to be speaking with soon, who's one of my. If you want to find a left-wing guy who shits on woke better than anyone there is, I mean, he's it. Sometimes he does it better than I do even. Because he's like, listen, you got people that are making me look bad. I'm just trying to help out the working class, and you guys are just being fucking idiots. If you want to look, Bernie Sanders abandoned some of the policies that he had formerly been in favor of that he converged with Donald Trump. He changed his entire immigration policy over the last 4 years.
He did. He did. He absolutely did because of the woke Democrats. He wanted that vote.
Exactly.
And he thinks that's what it is. I don't think it's a centrist Democrat really wants open borders. Do you?
Well, no, they didn't for years. I mean, if you even go
borders, imagine if we had open borders right now.
Well, my dad is. This is going to be interesting because my dad just said he's a big fan of yours. Formerly, Moscow was his favorite, so I don't know. Now it's going to be the showdown. It's Doug versus Moscow for who Midnight Mike Polinsky is number one in his book. So, but this is an interesting conversation that if you listen to just the mainstream media, just CNN, just the New York Times, just BuzzFeed, all this bullshit, you don't hear this interesting conversation. That there are people, Republicans like a Josh Hawley, like a Tom Cotton, like a Matt Gaetz, who converge and are kind of share some of left-wing populist economic policy, but do not get into this whole identity, politically correct censorship thing. And that's if I want to look at where interesting political conversations are right now in America in 2020, that's where it's at. And that's where I think that we can find solutions. And if you want to talk with, I had a really interesting, I was on a podcast with a friend of mine who's far more left-wing than me. His name's Jeff Grace. He's a guy, he's in Hollywood. He's an actor.
I got one thing. Mail-in ballots. What do you got on that?
Admittedly, I'm still studying that one. I'll admit I don't have a fully formed view on it.
Come on. There's no...
Listen, I'm suspicious of it right off the bat, but I have to dive in deeper.
Suspicious. There's no way we could do mail-in ballot. If we could go sit our ass in line in Costco and Walmart and buy toilet paper and Clorox wipes, we could go stand 6 feet apart in our vote and vote for president of the United States and whoever else.
God, listen, you know me. I'm a wait and see guy. I'm like every week I'm picking up the data. I'm making my decisions. I'm hedging my bets. I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to project.
That grandmother lives in New Jersey. She was a registered Democrat. She's still voting. You know, I mean, so
for sure. Listen, we're gonna continue to monitor the situation. There's a lifetime until the election. A lifetime. Think about guys. Can we just take a step and have an existential conversation for 2 seconds? This entire lockdown situation is barely 2 months in. Think about what has transpired in barely think about how quickly 2 months of your life goes by, and think about what has transpired since March, let's call it 12th. So we've got 5.5 months left pretty much until the election. Who the fuck knows what's going to go on till then? So I'm taking a wait and see approach.
Why though? Why? I don't understand why. What
do you mean why?
Why?
Because a fucking lifetime worth of information and evolution is happening every week.
But why mail-in ballots? I'm just saying why.
Oh, why mail-in ballots? Just if there is, and I don't think there will be, if there is a legitimate public safety reason not to have people congregate.
Okay, let's get into the coronavirus now too. Okay.
So how about this? You know something? I think this is a good. We're at 52 minutes in. We're clearly going to go over an hour, so we're going to fire this back up, guys. We've done real estate. We did a little politics. We're going to fire this conversation back up. You're going to tap back in. We're going to start talking coronavirus specifically, and then we're going to talk about some more, a little more, publicity-related Doug Reinhardt issues. So everybody, I'm going to stop this right now. Give me 2 seconds, and we're going to fire it back up. Everybody tap back in. Let's see what type of retention we got. It was heating up. It was heating up real nice, and it's going to stay hot. Yes, Mr. Hood. Allie. I love round two, man. I love round two because of how. Oh, this is the best. Allie, we're not stopping anytime soon. Does Doug know he needs to tap back in? Kevin, I wasn't able to get. Will someone text Doug and tell him he has to hop back in the live? Kevin, text Doug. Chanel, text Doug. Okay, someone text Doug so he knows to join back in the live. Someone call him. I'm not kidding. Someone call Doug right now. He's not going to know. Where's Doug? Hold on.
There we go.
All right. I was worried about you there for a second.
Well, I didn't know. You said come back at 9. I didn't know.
Come back at 9? What the fuck are you? All right. Anyways, listen. not everyone, you know, we're back. We're still firing. Okay. Braun wants to join. He's going to join in a minute or two, but we're going to keep this firing. Okay. Mail-in ballots. Listen, man, this is November. It's fucking 5.5 months away. I'm taking a wait and see approach. Okay. Braun, you're going to join, Braun, but it's going to be a minute. Okay. Here's something that people seem to be forgetting. The flu is seasonal. The coronavirus is going to be fucking seasonal, okay? What's going to happen is we're going to reopen all of these cities. We're going to reopen LA. We've already reopened a bunch of other cities. The numbers are going to be good, okay? Not a lot of people are going to get infected. The coronavirus is not going to spread that much over the next few months. It's going to come back in September, October, November. It's going to come back in 4 or 5 months.
It's going to come in November, really. I mean, it's 95 degrees in October in LA.
But it's not going to come back in LA. It's going to come back in colder climates in October, November.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It'll probably come back in November. You're right. Absolutely.
No, right. So listen, dude, I ain't trying to jam up the system more than it needs to be.
Fauci said we could have a vaccine by December. So. Well,
listen. Okay, so I'm going to say Moderna, a good friend of mine, someone who is a very credible voice. He knows some people who are in Moderna, the company that tested can we first talk about how much fucking bullshit there is about anytime any company, biotech company, releases any information about a study regarding a virus, it feels like a pump and dump. It feels like
it goes up 20% and then 10% down, 20%, 50% the next day. You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I lost a bunch of followers the other night because I have a lot of my following is mothers.
It happened with the remdesivir. It happened with Moderna the other day.
Oh, it's a joke. The interplay between biotech companies releasing information about potential vaccines,
and then one person with one bad line of literature, it just ruins the company.
It's insane. It's insane. And then you've got Robert F. Kennedy, and I went and I made a very aggressive comment about Robert F. Kennedy. I'm like, I see the way this guy does what he does. I'm telling you, this guy's full of shit. Like, sure, anyone can be right. Anyone can be directionally right. He could be directionally right that some vaccines are very dangerous for people and need to be looked at with skepticism. I'm totally with Robert F. Kennedy on that. But if you can tell a person and his motives by his tactics. If you're sending fucking Bill Gates memes with catastrophe at the top, I know what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to manipulate shit. And then the next day, like I lost a lot of followers that night when I criticized him, but I was going to say, people who did try to hop in my DMs and have like a good faith conversation about him, I was like, listen, look, this guy's not operating in good faith. This guy has an agenda. And then he posts something like, he posts something about the stock price of Moderna. He's like, look, we tanked their stock price today because we exposed their study for being bullshit. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're not even trying to hide it. You're clearly trying to manipulate stock prices of biotech companies with your content.
Well, that's going to be another thing too, is which country develops the vaccine, and then that's a whole nother topic. And then who gets it, when they get it, you know, and
sure.
How they pay for it.
Sure.
Because if it's not the United States that gets that vaccine, they are paying a devil's ransom.
Good God. I mean, I'm hoping. Listen, man. You know, I'm gonna throw one out there for the Jewish people right now.
But Trump, this he kind of did it like with World War II, or when they were trying to build the Manhattan Project, when they were trying to do the atom bomb. He has thrown every scientist, every company on finding a vaccine, and you got to give him credit for that.
Who is this?
Trump.
Okay. But then you've got this weird interplay where a lot of Trump supporters are very suspicious of vaccines.
No, that's more Democrat. That's more liberal.
Listen, Doug, I'm seeing my DMs, baby. I've been. Trust me.
Come on.
DMs are a great are great. If you want to see what America is, you will see my DMs over the past 8 weeks.
Hasn't shaved her armpits in 2 months. Like that. Let's be real, bro. Come on.
Oh my God. Okay. So that's what's going on around the vaccine. Let's talk about Los Angeles. LA, I'm certain you are very suspicious. I'm getting, yeah, Chanel. Listen, Chanel's been a great contributor. She's a big supporter of BNN. She's a fucking phenomenal. There you go. She's been
Chanel's the best.
Chanel's amazing.
Kevin.
As we will get to in a second.
Where's Spencer at? Where's Spencer? Where's Chanel's little brother?
Spencer and Taylor are going in and out.
Dean May's got in the house. We got the
yes, finally. All right, Spencer and Taylor are going back and forth between the BNN comments and playing a game of Cards Against Humanity. Okay, I know what they're up to. Whatever. All right, so Chanel acknowledges that the vaccine suspicion, it's a little more slanted to the Republican side and supporters of Donald Trump.
I mean, I've never seen a poll. You know, I can't agree with that or disagree with that. I can't go off the data in your inbox because I can't see that. So what?
I'm telling you, like Doug, and listen, I'm gonna go fucking hang it out there right there for society. My DMs over the past 8 weeks should be studied by scientists. There's the shit that's gone on in those DMs, what I've seen, the data opinions I've been able to gauge about America and see what's going on and what people think is truly astonishing. I'm still a little bit in shock of what I've seen over the past 8 weeks. I've learned a lot. So I want to thank everyone, even the people who are annoying who hopped in my DMs.
Tell the people who you're voting for president.
It's going to be a toss. Right now, it's a toss-up.
Oh my! How is it even close? Are you kidding? The guy can't even remember where he is.
Yes, but if you're going to make the case for, listen, everyone knows that, and it's going to get exposed more and more. But that's it. Is that it's just Trump is a symptom of a disease and a counterforce to something else. But then Biden is a symptom of another disease. Everyone's just symptoms of a deeper disease.
What's the lesser of evils? I mean,
no, but listen, we're gonna say Tony Daly. Listen, if Yang was fucking running, I'd be voting for him, and you'd be sitting there in Vegas like retired, and Dean May would still be throwing stones at you and shade.
So Stacey Abrams is Biden's VP.
Oh, if Stacey Abrams is Biden's VP, I'm fucking voting Trump all day.
Okay, Kamala Harris.
Trump.
Amy Klobuchar.
Then I'm a toss-up. I like Amy Klobuchar. I'm sorry, she's good. If you want to,
do you hear the laugh in the background?
What is that from your children or from Mia Keen?
That's just Mia laughing at that.
Okay, Mia, yeah, I love your name is very compact. It's got a lot of vowels, like it's scrunched in, but it has a lot of style. We bonded at Braun's wedding, and I hope to talk further with you. And
have you met my twins yet?
Dude, how are the twins doing?
Have you met them?
I haven't met them. I got to make it down to Orange County. I think I'm a little bit over. I'm definitely overdue.
Well, you can come to their first birthday. It's in 2 months. So
2 months. Okay. If I'm not doing some really stupid shit at some European party venue, I will be at the twins.
If we're not prisoners, you could come down.
Wait, can we talk about my dad telling me that he's like disappointed that he sent me to an Ivy League school in the comments right now? That's phenomenal. Thank you. Listen, dude, it made sense in the 80s. In the 80s, it made sense to go to a good school.
So, is your dad a Trump guy or what?
Are you kidding me? He's fucking to the right of Attila the Hun.
Oh, I love your dad. Dad, I should be talking to you instead of this clown. I'm
telling you, Moscow and my dad are gonna go have fun. My dad needs to make it down to Orange County. Dad, you should go hang out in Orange County with Doug and Moscow. You guys can go have a very right-wing brunch. Anyways, okay, so yeah, we've got a long ways to go. Do you think Joe Biden is gonna make it to the election?
I don't even think he makes it to the what is it? what is it called? I forget. What is it? The I pulled the Biden. The nominations. It's in
Convention.
convention. There you go. The convention.
The
I don't even
convention.
think,
Yeah.
I don't even think it makes it to the convention.
If white people listen, you're not white if you don't want to vote for Doug Reinhardt. Anyways,
I mean, yeah, same thing that Joe Biden said, right?
today was a very strange day in American history. Anyways, yeah, that's the thing, man. I'm a bit of a, I'm not as hippy dippy as fucking Nick Mon's gonna come in. Nick Mon wants to come throwing that lip. He wants to come punch hard.
He's hard-lived. He's hard-lived.
Nick, let's hear it, baby. I want Nick Montalegre to unload in the comments. Nick Montalegre and Dory Benami, unload. Bring that liberal heat right now. We'll get there. So anyways, that's why I try to take a wait and see approach, right? Like, we don't know who Joe Biden's going to choose as VP. We don't know if he's going to fucking be living in 6 months. You're asking me who I want to vote for. I don't know what the election is going to look like.
At the convention, they fly Hillary down. They what was it? Britney Spears at the Super Bowl, like she jumps up. I mean, who was that? Lady Gaga. It was Lady Gaga.
It's always Lady Gaga.
They break that glass finally, and she freaking jumps down. She's like, "I'm here to save us, Dems." I mean, they see that.
Oh man. Okay. Yes, the Democrats are deeply out of touch in thinking anyone gives a shit about who celebrities support. I think the fact that the Democrats looked at 2016 after all these celebrities just came out for Hillary Clinton and it did not work, and they thought, let's double down on that. Let's get a bunch more celebrities to do promos for us.
You play a clown for a living. Go like why am I taking advice from you? Like, get out.
God, John, the clown of the fucking, oh God, I hate to say it because I'm friends with people that are affiliated with him. John Legend fucking sucks.
I couldn't agree more.
Oh, who sucks more, right? Dory. Well, who's got better content than this? Anyways, John Legend sucks. Yeah, the Democrats need to get away from celebrities. Anytime a celebrity reaches out to a Democrat politician, the Democrat politician should tell them, get the hell away. We don't want you.
They're like, it's like COVID-19. Like someone 2 feet away from you. Like, get the fuck away.
Yeah, no, but see, that's it. If you want to talk about, as we talked about before, where some of the right-wing populists and left-wing populists converge, the left-wing people that I think are smart, they say the same thing. They're like, "Will you shut the fuck up?" Matt Stoller wants nothing to do with John Legend. Okay,
right.
Michael Tracy wants nothing to do with John Legend. Okay,
right.
He's like, these are not serious people. I don't want anything to do with them. Okay, so that's something we're seeing on the national level. Let's talk about the local level.
Let's talk about Newsom.
What's up?
Let's talk about Newsom.
Let's talk about Garcetti before we talk about Newsom.
Okay, Garcetti.
Okay.
So
today, our Donald J. Trump had his administration dust off a letter.
Okay.
Well, let's just talk about real quick. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have a self-aggrandizing moment. Okay, BNN blew the spot up on some LA local news over the past couple of weeks, and literally was the catalyst for the exposure of some fake news in Los Angeles about the some LA public health administrators
till July.
What's up? Oh,
July.
You know that was on me, right?
Yeah.
No, pretty much right after me and my dad went and gave blood downtown. I had just given blood. The blood people were like, "Go sit over there. You're going to be a little woozy the rest of the day. You need to stay calm." But of course, me being a psychopath, I get on my phone. I start looking at news. I see this article. It says LA lockdown extended through July. I'm like,
I saw that too.
This makes no fucking sense at all. Everywhere else is opening.
People are going nuts.
People are going nuts. Everyone's texting me, yada, yada, yada. Being that I'm one of about 6 people left in society that actually reads articles instead of just the headlines, I go and read the actual article, okay? And then the quote doesn't seem to say that. The quote from the county health director says, we're going to have some measures in place through July. What the fuck could that mean? That could mean, okay, we're just going to not have full.
We're going to have social distancing. We're going to have masks. Something
exactly. And everyone's freaking out. I've got clients calling me saying my investors are freaking out. Please close this deal right now. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is fake news. This is not true. Okay. So luckily I'm in touch with some people who are involved in the actual local news. Local news, way better than national news.
I agree with
you. Local news, good people, not fake news.
Pascucci, Scooch.
She's great.
Known her since SC. Allie Lutz, what's up? Where are you?
So long story short, the local, some people see some of the stuff that I'm like, wait a second, this comment does not line up with the headline. And everyone in LA now thinks that the lockdown rules have been extended through July. That's not true. That's clearly not true. So some of the local news people sees this, we talk. They go and call Garcetti. He clearly says, wait a second, this is not true. It was a misquote, and some of it gets clarified, but not before this fake news fucking bullshit headline about the lockdown in LA getting extended for 8 weeks goes everywhere.
Right.
Everyone thought this was true. Everyone's sending, and this is what pisses me off. These fake news people who distributed this story got all the clicks they wanted. They got all the spread they wanted. They got all the clicks they wanted.
Well, I think it's terrible what the media does. I mean, they, with the COVID and the kids now that causing Kawasaki. I mean, it happened to like 4 kids now. Like every parent in the country is now freaking out because it happened to like 4 kids. Yeah, it happens, but do they know it's connected? I mean, they don't know. They take these outlier issues, they make it big headline, and it's clickbait. And instead of showing people getting better, right? People beating the coronavirus, it's that 32-year-old triathlon, participant who died of COVID-19, right? So it's like they don't give you any hope. They just want to scare you, and that's what I have a problem with.
For sure. Listen, I believe I'm a little.
My dad got COVID-19. He took hydroxychloroquine. He was better in 3 days. So you could say what you want about it, and whatever it is, it worked for him.
All right, let's give a shout out to another commenter in the comments, Jen Kopfer, a nurse, very well versed on these topics. Jen tells me hydroxychloroquine, I take it myself. I'm a nurse. I have nurse friends who prescribe it for patients. I don't know what the hell everyone's worried about.
It's 60 years. I mean, Tylenol is worse for you than hydroxychloroquine.
That might be an overstatement, but I'm not that worried.
Google what's the safest drugs and Google it. And Tylenol comes after hydroxychloroquine.
Well, I'm not going to go for the fake news of whatever the Google results come up, but I think we can all agree hydroxychloroquine has the conversation, and this is just a bigger problem. The conversation around what should be objectively studied topics like, is this drug useful?
Why? Because Trump came out and said, this works. It worked in France from this small non-peer reviewed study. This thing worked in France, right? So he's stoked, like, oh my God, like we found something that works. And instead of the media, like, praising it and looking into it, it just they denounce it at the minute he says it.
Yes. And this is a big this is why I'm fiercely against this is not, as we've already noted, they're members of the media that are honest and forthright and ethical. Okay. But they're the exceptions these days. The media machine is by its nature dishonest. Okay. The machine is dishonest. if there's a journalist who is honest, they're almost a rebel. The journalists who are good are rebelling against the system of being fake, right? So the fake news machine.
Girl, she was on 60 Minutes. Laura Logan. She's on Fox News now. She's on Fox Nation, or she has a little segment on that. Real journalist, only follows the truth. Got run out of CBS because
Laura Logan's great. Yes.
She is a great reporter, and that's how people should report right there. The truth.
She's good. She's good. No, once again, as we said, we mentioned Christina Piscucci. Love her. Very ethical, forthright journalist. I have other local news journalists. A guy named Bill Malugan, who I don't know that well, but he works for the local Fox channel. He does great work. My friend Brittany Hopper. The local news people, I can't speak highly enough about. The national news people, I can't speak low enough about. They're terrible.
They're terrible.
They're terrible. But that's just, for instance, in Los Angeles, how no one knows what the fuck is going on. Okay?
One more thing too, at the rollouts of opening of states, when Georgia and Florida opened up, they were vilified. They were causing deaths and destruction.
The conversation around it went off the rails.
Colorado, when Polis in Colorado opened, nothing. Oh, he's doing it the right way. He's doing it this, he's doing it that. Totally different. Totally different than.
Yeah, and here's the unfortunate part, and I've mentioned this a lot, is that not every politician wants to be this divisive. I was on a conference call for an organization I was tiptoeing around that had a Democrat governor, Jared Polis of Colorado, and a Republican governor, Doug Ducey of Arizona, back to back having conversations. They were fine with each other. They were pretty much, there was not that much difference between the two of them.
Yeah.
They both, the way they described how they wanted to open up, their perspective on everything. If you saw these two guys, you'd think that Democrats and Republicans were not that different. Then you go look at how the media treats what each of them says, and it all of a sudden becomes a total clusterfuck.
Yeah. Did I tell you a funny story that happened to me last night?
Sure. I love a good story.
So this is how freaked out of COVID I am, right? Like, I'm so freaked out of COVID. Because the media freaks me out. I go out in my spacesuit to pick up dinner, right? So I go out and I'm paying for my teppanyaki dinner for everybody and bring it back to my house, and people are three feet back standing in line, and this one guy comes and tries to cut the line like he's going into 14 on a Sunday right in front of me, gets his face right there next to me, and I just lost it, bro. I just said, back up right now. That's that right there now is like coughing in someone's face 6 months ago.
Yeah. Listen, man, we're as I was discussing earlier, the last 2 months, a lot has happened the last 2 months. A lot of people have gone through a big emotional upheavals. They've gone through highs. They've gone through lows. They've questioned what their assumptions are. Chanel, I mean, I wish I could participate in 14 this Sunday.
So would I. I mean, can we bring it back for one time?
Man, we're going to get to the social conversation in just a minute. We're going to finish up politics.
Dean the Creator, you're on here. When the COVID pandemic is done, can we do 114?
We'll wait for Dean May's comment. So, okay, so can I, it pains me deeply that me and you guys, we all became friends a little bit later. We will, Doug. Dean May is saying that we're going to get the job done. Who's in now? Brian Gooding. He's been a new follower of mine. Seems like a great guy. Really like Brian.
I chose Ron H.
Listen, it's no mystery. The BNN comment section is the most fucking lit place on the internet. It's not even close. It's incredible. Okay. So we're gonna pivot. All right. Okay. So we had the political conversation. No, so we have one more political item to tackle.
All right.
So that, as I was saying, Donald Trump sends a letter to Eric Garcetti, mayor of Los Angeles. I'm starting to feel, I've given him some slack. I don't love Garcetti, but I'll give him some slack. Grading on a curve of LA's already going to vote for a liberal mayor. Grading on a curve, I can live with the guy. So I'm like, all right, is he extending this too far? He's definitely not communicating properly. He's not doing a good job of communicating. I'm all about politicians communicating. You don't have to open up, but you got to tell people when you're opening up, okay? Because if people know when they're opening up, then society is going to operate better. So today, Trump tries to, show them that, listen, our eyes are on you. We're watching you, Garcetti. If you keep on pushing off the reopening of Los Angeles, like, we're not going to let this ride. So obviously I know what your feelings are, but like, what do you think about this issue, that the push and pull between Trump trying to convince people to open up and some of the liberal mayors and governors maybe being a little more hesitant? Out of that, the tension between those two forces comes the right answer.
Well, I think Fauci coming out today saying that we need to reopen is going to change a lot of views from Democratic mayors, right?
For sure.
And then they're going to turn on him. The Democrats are going to turn on him very quick if they don't, right? And he comes out, start advocating reopening of cities and towns across the country, or in blue states mostly. But if Garcetti doesn't open with what the main thing is, Trump has the Trump card. He can tell everyone to open or not. And that's why that's my one hesitation. And that one thing that's pissing me off with Trump is that he's not led in this COVID outbreak. He is not led.
His communication. He's not been a good communicator. Let's just fucking say it.
He is hit in the back. You want someone out there saying, we're going to get through this. We're going to take this on. We're going to come through this. And that's my one thing with Trump, is that he has not done that through this COVID-19, when he could have made his stock even better and been out there on the front line. Like, yeah, we're getting our ass kicked. We're going to get through it. But he doesn't. He hasn't. And he needs to make a stand, and he needs to say, we're either reopening everywhere or we're not, versus some little spaces of hot spots like New York City.
But Doug, on the other hand, listen, we're not Sweden. Sweden. Everyone wants to fucking use Sweden. That's 10 million people. That's 10 million residents. That's the size of Los Angeles County. You can treat that as one unit, right? You can't treat a country of 320 million people like one unit.
That's why I said, well, like, why isn't South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, they're not having their memorial?
No, but at this point, at this juncture, I'm fine with people customizing solutions. Customize a solution for the low density states. You customize a solution for the high density states.
But is it shown that lockdown really does prevent?
Well, listen, I was about a 2-month guy. I was a 2-month guy from the beginning.
If you live alone, you do it. But I do it. if I get it, I come home and I infect my whole family, my kid, and everyone else gets it, right? So that's the difference. I mean, that's what's been happening. Over the third of the deaths have been nursing home patients.
This is absolutely true. And it's a very relevant data point. A significant share of the deaths have been nursing homes.
Third of the deaths in this country are nursing home patients. Let's think about that first.
So here's the thing. And this is something that I'm going to post on in the morning, because there's a study that is that significant. And here's what people don't understand about COVID. People don't understand how concentrated it is, right? Where there have been places that have been super concentrated, a ton of devastation, it shot through the roof. And everywhere that wasn't that,
right,
because they're super spreaders, right? think about that. There's that data point called R, that is how many people each person infects, right? But everyone thinks that that's even across all people. No, there are some super spreaders who are, if you're in a highly condensed atmosphere, you spread it to like 30 people.
Right.
And then other people don't
like
spread
the
it
guy
to anybody.
that was on last night, whatever, the different classes of people, right? The lower economic scale lives with more people in a smaller density, has the ability to infect more people. And that's happening.
Yeah. No, so what I'm saying is, I think at this point we take the few steps to make sure there's no highly concentrated events.
Right.
We try to protect people over a certain age, and now it's time to start getting back to real life. I'm in favor of gradualism and things that, I'm a gradualist in a lot of ways, because listen, we've already suffered so much of the damage. You're not just going to reopen. Listen, luckily Georgia, Florida, Texas have been guinea pigs. The data is good so far. I think we need to be very vigilant that I do think this is going to come back in the fall, but May, June, July, August, probably not low, probably not high risk. Once we get back to fall, we're going to have to be very cautious again.
But I think Georgia, Florida, you just said that. What was it? Georgia, Florida, Texas. I mean, think about southern states, hot states, temperatures.
Treat the hot, humid states as hot, humid states. Absolutely let them operate.
And that's exactly what it is. So that's showing us one good thing, if anything, about this virus is that it dies when it.
Yeah, no, and that's something that people are going to be looking at. Is Brazil is a big problem, because Brazil took a very lackadaisical attitude towards it, and is supposed to be.
Have you ever been to Brazil? Brazil is a third world country. Brazil,
absolutely.
There's sewage running through the streets. I mean,
sure, but let's talk about conditionally. Is that a lot of the Western world, we benefited that as COVID hit, we were exiting the cold weather part of the year into warm weather.
Absolutely.
The southern hemisphere was entering the cold weather portion of the year. So Brazil's in deep fucking shit, man. Brazil's in trouble.
Yeah, Australia, I mean, same thing. I mean,
what Australia did is just lock down totally, so the virus never got there.
Yeah, exactly. There was only 700 and something.
Yeah. So Australia is just like, listen, we shut down. Nobody's coming in for months. If you want to come to Australia, you're going to wait 6 months. We saved ourselves.
They weren't letting out or in. So
yeah. No, these are fascinating topics on that level. And I think Brazil and highly populated southern hemisphere nations that are entering cold weather eras are in trouble. It's going to be bad. So we're gonna have to figure that out. Okay. Yep. Now we've done an hour and a half on unserious topics. Let's get to some serious topics now that clearly, some of the very socially astute people in the comment section want to hear about. Okay, man, I'm gonna admit it. I missed 2008 to 2012. Okay, 14. I had gone to grad school. I was still getting some shit done. I was still getting on my feet from a rough period with the economic downfall. And you motherfuckers were at 14 every Sunday. Doing things that, I mean, if you want to talk about legendary Los Angeles parties, for XIV Sunday night, blogs were written about it. I knew a girl who her birth control cycle, she did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then her Sunday was labeled XIV. I'm not fucking kidding. I hope she's watching right now, because she would know who I'm talking about. So, Doug, you were just a nice suburban boy from Laguna Beach. You Laguna Beach people, all of a sudden the reality TV thing happened, and you guys merged with the Hollywood people, the Dean Mays of the world. As you were growing up in Orange County, did you ever imagine that you would be, in the thick of it, in the media with paparazzi following you, hanging out with people with hair as good as Dean May?
Oh, never. I mean, I was just small town kid, no, I never thought that. I thought I was going to play baseball and that was it,
Wait, what? Am I getting some heat from Lord Collins in the comments right now? What is this? Jesus Christ, man. All right, so Doug, you guys are at USC. You were playing baseball.
I was never at USC. My girlfriend at the time was going there. I was playing baseball with the Angels in the minor leagues, and so every offseason I'd come and hang out with like the SC guys, Moscow, and all those guys. So yeah, that's Braun. Sorry, God forbid it, Kevin, all those guys. So yeah, so that's how I knew them, and that's how our little clique formed.
And so what was going on? Every Sunday night, 14, there was a different theme. Am I correct? Like this was not.
It was a 14, and then after party at my house. I mean,
That's it. Craig Clemens wrote a blog about this. He said, "This is what happens."
Craig Clemens himself at Spencer Oliver's house. He passed out on the couch and peed himself. Holding a tiger. I swear to God, I swear to you. Someone who was there. Someone was there. Dean Chanel. Someone brought Spencer. 100%. He pissed himself. He went. He like. Yeah. It was. He went full. Oh, Jen was there. Jen was there. Jen Coffer was there. She was there. Okay.
Jen was there. Jen, and remember, Jen had a. Yeah. What the fuck, Jen? You had that friend of yours. She was that French chick. You guys called yourself like the Danger Twins. I was like, all right, that's like, I love that you guys gave yourself a nickname. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your nickname, Doug?
I don't know.
All right. So you entered all of a sudden, you thought you were just going to be dating, bright blonde Orange County women for your entire life. But then you get funneled into the celebutant machine of the 2000s, and and that was heavy. I mean, how did you react to that? Was that how did you it must have been a strange experience being on reality TV, having photographers follow you around all the time.
Dude, I was a 25-year-old kid. I always thought it was the greatest thing ever. It was fun.
You loved it.
Joke. I mean, come on, who wouldn't create places like that? I mean, come on, let's be real. It was crazy. It was not real. It was not real life, and it was a fun time in my life. But that's all it was. And here I am now. I got two beautiful boys, and I'm so fortunate, and I got a great business. And
Were there challenges? Were there challenges in going back from this world, the strange world of cameras and publicity and whatnot, into trying to go and be a real person?
No, I loved it. I turned 30 and said, you know what, I'm done. And I grew up, and that's
okay. You did. I just got a very strange message of someone hopping in my mentions on Instagram offering to sell feet pics, but that's another item of 2020 I don't want to talk about. Anyways. So you were ripping it still in Los Angeles for a minute or two. You and my brother became good friends for a minute. I'm like, oh shit, what, Andy? What you became friends with Doug Reinhardt? This is fascinating. I don't know him that well, but he seems like a good guy. And then you had a house up Doheny. My brother's like, yeah, I'm gonna throw my after party for my birthday at Doug's house. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Braun was living with you. And then we threw a party for my brother's, an after party for my brother's birthday. And it like 500 people were there.
Yeah, like one bottle of vodka, and somehow it ended up with 500 people. I don't know.
And like everyone was there, was like just waiting for the alcohol. Where's the alcohol? Here it is. And nobody cared. And everyone was just there. And they're just like, something. Nobody had not everyone had phones and Instagram at the time. So like, yeah, we're here. We might as well just make the best of it. We're just gonna be here. Who gives a shit?
Right.
And, I think Braun was like, didn't even come out that night. He was in his bedroom, and then the after party happened, and then Braun just like, oh shit, there's 400 people here. Maybe I need to participate. And then he had like the one bottle of vodka, and like we all trying to ration it out a little bit.
Yeah.
We somehow
ended up bringing it over, calling it over. What was it? Hill Turner, bringing it up. I still remember that.
Oh my God, man. Remember those days? Like those don't happen. And I don't even think it's just age anymore. I think it's just the way that people interact. That
Yeah,
doesn't happen
he
anymore.
hide beers all over my kitchen for just himself. Like Dean May would come in my house first. He'd hide my like drawers. He'd like get them out, hide them all over, so he'd have them for the after parties.
Oh my God, man. That's incredible. All right. So Matt Mosco's nickname Mongo.
Mongo.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that.
Uh, well, he's a 6'8". You, you draw your own conclusions.
All right. Wait. So Kevin Collins is asking about a fish. Jen Kopfer is mentioning something about a beta fish. Let's talk about the fish. What's the fish story?
Oh, it was on my birthday one year. I think
You ate what? You ate a goldfish?
I ate a goldfish. Yeah.
Was it a bet or were you just being a fucking jerk off?
It was a bet. There was some
Okay,
other.
what did you win? What did you win?
There was some other stuff on it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a bet, but.
Okay, all right. More 14. Did you go out Saturday night when you knew you were going out Sunday night?
Dude, we were going out every night.
Were you going out every fucking night?
Every night. Night. We were going out every night. But
God
I think
bless you, dude.
we would go out every night, and I think we'd like sleep on Monday, and that was it. And then right back at it on Tuesday.
Oh, dude, God bless all you guys, man. Fuck, thank God. I'd be fucking face down in a gutter right now if I'd been involved in this. So yeah, nobody's giving a shit on Monday. How many? You had that house. If you went right into Beverly Hills and went north, like it's almost where Blind Dragon is now. You had that house.
Yeah.
That was the house, right?
Sierra Alta, yeah, Sierra Alta Way. That was a good house.
Okay. Sierra Alta.
1314 Sierra Alta Way. That's what it was. Yeah.
It went down at 1314.
Everyone, we just shouted out 1314 Sierra Alta, Sierra Alta. They know where it was.
Was it the after party every Sunday?
Yeah, pretty much every Sunday. Spencer did a couple, but yeah, it was pretty much Sierra Alta. And then there was 1600 Blue Jay Way.
Oh, Kevin Knudsen fucking hopping right in right there.
Yeah, exactly. Which predated that, which was like Hills days, so.
Jesus Christ, man. So, okay, so what's up? All right, the Hills. What role do you think you played on the Hills?
Who knows what I played? I was just. Lauren asked me to be on it, and I said, sure, I'll be on it. I got.
All right, but wait. So Lauren was your actual girlfriend from your youth, right?
Yeah. We dated when she was my prom date.
My God! And this was before any of you guys thought any of this shit. You thought all these people up in the basin in LA were fucking idiots. What the fuck are these?
Like we didn't even know about that shit, when you're that age, right? You don't know. You think the whole world's like your world, right? We weren't thinking, LA, whatever. But then they started, filming Laguna Beach, and I was dating Lauren, and they asked me to be on it, but I was getting drafted by the Angels. Okay. Probably not a good idea that I'm on the show, so I wasn't on that. So it turns out a couple of years later, 5 years later, I blow out my knee, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go rehab in LA, and get better there, and go to school while I'm doing it. And I was going to Pepperdine and partying every night, pretty much, and rehab. Run into LC at a club at Goa. Remember Goa?
Oh, Goa.
Goa. That was
unbelievable, man.
That was
Goa was a good man. That's the thing. It's like there were some nice, interesting clubs out there in Hollywood, and then at this age, you're looking like, holy shit! I went to this part of town 4 to 5 nights a week. I want someone gag me with a fucking spoon right now. How did I do this?
Yeah,
crazy, but it was fun.
After 2010, I didn't go east of La Cienega.
Yeah, well, you know me. Listen, I still play around in this world a little bit. I have been taking as many of my liberties as possible to go to the west side because usually it's so tough to drive to the west side because there's so much traffic. But now COVID, there's no fucking traffic. I went east of Fairfax for the first time in a long time, about 3 days ago. I almost vomited. It was disgusting. I
Yeah.
want nothing to do with that.
What's going on down there these days? I probably haven't been like Hollywood Highland area, like in
I think it's gone down. I think it's gone downhill. I think there was that real pop in the early mid 2000s of they built out Hollywood and Highland. They built out some areas in Hollywood, some new developments, and like traffic started to flow back there. Clubs started to reopen, and then it was a nice little era. And then since that happens, it's just gone back to shit. It's violent again. It's gross again. I want nothing to do.
There were a lot of Lucy's. Lucy's were like, what were Lucy's, guys?
Let's hear it. Let's talk about Lucy's.
Lucy's. What were Lucy's?
We'll get to Ledoux in just a second. Okay, we got a Stephanie Pratt question.
That was all set up fake. But that's
what percentage of your dating life on that show was real versus fake?
The only real stuff was with Lauren, but like all the other was fake. Yeah.
Okay.
And even the Lauren stuff was fake. Like shit happened before, and then they like make us redo it like weeks later. You know, so you're like reacting what happened. It was like it's crazy. It was nuts. It was stupid.
But you didn't care. You're like, whatever. This is stupid. But all right, wait. Let's get into Lucy's. There's too many people in the comments talking about Lucy's.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Wait, real quick. Anna Kachichian, are you the Anna Kachichian from the Red Scare podcast? Please tell me you are. Anyways, we'll let her answer. So what's up with Lucy's?
I don't know.
If you think you're fucking gonna escape me on Lucy's, it's not happening. You're gonna tell me what a fucking Lucy is.
Lucy was like a little slut. Lucy was like a little slut that used to hang.
Okay. That's Lucy. You know, there's not that many women named Lucy anymore. It is a double entendre. We like double entendres here on BNN. So I love that. You know, they were loosey goosey. Okay, Anna from TMZ. I love that you are the same Anna as the Red Scare podcast. You know, whatever, dude. You did stumble upon some fucking gold, man. We are ripping it tonight. Okay, what other remnants of the 14 experience? The EC twins. The EC twins.
They were good, man. Are they still? I mean, I'm so out of pop culture. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Dean, Doug. If you knew how fucking psychotic this world that we're talking about. Oh, Jimmy Summers!
Jimmy Summers is here. I love it. What's up?
I'm so excited that Jimmy Summers is here. This is a fucking party tonight, people. All right, so Doug, if you had any idea what's going on in like the version of what you're talking about right now about your life in the party scene, in the you know the Celebrity Town TMZ scene, what's going on now? I mean, you don't want to know, man. If you knew, you would take your twins and Mia and fucking bounce to fucking Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, it is fucked. It is so fucked up.
Why do you say that?
Man, I hate saying it because I'm still, you know, listen, I like tiptoeing around it a little bit. It's very strange. It is this weird.
Social media ruined girls?
I can't say that it necessarily, I think it ruined everybody. But I don't want to say that it ruined everybody because here's what happened. It benefited some people like me a lot. And it really, it treated most people badly and treated a few people very well.
Yeah.
And in terms of women, I think that, and you know, I'm not criticizing women, right? Any attractive woman 15 years ago had every guy's trying to holler at her. She's walking down the street. She's got guys hitting on her, driving up, this and that, whatever. You go take that to the digital world where she's got her DMs open.
Yeah.
Any girl Her DMs are a fucking free-for-all Royal Rumble like you could not imagine in a million years. And you've only still got 24 hours in a day. So
Right.
a girl is just trying to be a female, an attractive female in 2020. She's just trying to live her life. She's trying to do her thing. Maybe she's trying to do something online, but she's got God knows how many people just diving in her DMs.
Is she just looking for that check mark on the side or what?
Well, no, I mean, she's got everyone from guys she might be interested in to just fucking cockroaches to some real strange people who are, there are some guys DMing some girls, some fucked up shit. I honestly, I feel for them, man. There's some cockroaches out there.
Matt, you tell me, like, what's the game now? Like, you see a girl, like, I mean, like, I've been out of the game so long. Tell me, what do you do? Like, how do you date a chick? What's a date?
It's a little more difficult because okay, so maybe
Like, can't even go get on a chick anymore because it's like a Me Too thing, right?
No, I don't think. Let's be honest, that's not very prevalent in the circles that we travel in. Anyways, I know. I mean, listen, I'll listen. I'll talk about that. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm sure that a lot of guys were trying to operate normally. Listen, man, when you're operating in the world of dating and not having a girlfriend, and okay, maybe we've hung out. Me and this girl have hung out a couple times. We've had sex once or twice, or maybe we're about to have sex, and we don't know where me and this girl don't know where we're at. We're trying to feel each other out. There's so many things that are unsaid that are communicated through body language and action. And I'm sure for a little while you're starting to think, oh shit, man, like, do I have to be more careful here? Like, maybe these things that I think they're fine with, they're not fine with. But I don't think that's really happened. I think it's, there's guys who really are bad guys and their tactics have been exposed.
Right.
Or also, there are some girls who you just know, like, these are girls who are not looking to date, they're looking for revenge.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Just
And some of that. Yeah, so that's a little bit of it. I'm probably, and me and some of my friends were unique because we remember dating before the dating apps, and Instagram's a dating app. Anyone who doesn't think Instagram's one big dating app. That's all it is.
I've never dated with the dating app, so I don't know that I just remember going up to a girl in a bar in a club and say, hey, what's up? And buying her.
Yeah, and Chanel, and you mentioned the guys who made bad decisions. Listen, like I said, there are guys who truly do bad things, and some of them have been exposed, and it's good that they've been exposed because and yeah, it's I was actually interviewed on an HBO documentary about this. Shout out to Nancy Jo Sales and HBO Swiped. Anyways, the dating in 2013 versus dating in 2017 might as well have been Mars and Venus, two completely different universes. Before Instagram, before dating apps, and after Instagram and after dating apps, unrecognizable. Two completely different universes.
Yeah, I agree. It's like you do your work through your dating apps now and Instagram versus going out. Well,
Yeah.
Like if you probably, crush on a girl, seen a girl out, whatever, you DM her. Is that what you do? I mean, I don't know.
Well, listen, I think where it really impacts people more is before 10 years ago, let's say you met a girl, you might have had a quick interaction with her, you liked her, it seemed to have gone well, but you didn't have the opportunity to get her number, get her contact info, maybe, if you knew a friend of hers, right? That's a problem. You can't contact her.
Right.
Now you have that interaction with the girl, you can then go and hop her in her DMs. And if you're not good if you're creepy in the DMs, you're creepy in the DMs. If you're good in the DMs, you're good in the DMs.
Okay, so there's so what's the DM game? Like, give me you got to tell me, like, what's your DM game?
Oh, wow. Look at Doug Reinhardt turning the table after I put the screws to him and got all the good information out of him. He's getting all the good information out of me.
You
This
know,
has been an illuminating Friday night.
yeah, right. Cheers.
Yeah. Me personally, you see how I do interviews, right? Whether it's you, me and you have been friends for a long time. Last night, me and Chris Arnatti, who's a guy I've never met before in my life, I treated you guys the same. The second we fucking started talking, I was trying to be as natural and as casual as possible, right? And I think that for an interview that's the way to approach people. And I think in the DMs, that's the way to approach people. You know, it's like, listen, I know that I'm not one of these guys who's gonna take it out and be mean to this girl if she is not in, you know, it is gonna take the wrong approach. I know I'm chill, so I'm just gonna be casual. We know common people. We might have met once or twice.
So
Let's hang out. If
like
not, it's okay.
so and so, you know so and so. I know them. Like we should grab a drink. Like what is it like?
Well, you got to play it out. You got to feel it out and see like, all right, what's the right time to go ask for a number? What's the right time to what's the right time to switch from DM to get the number? What's the right time to switch from a number to going and hanging out? This is absolutely an art and a science that if you're single over the past 6, 7, 8 years, you've had to figure out. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. It's a dark place, those DMs, huh?
Oh my God, holy shit. We're almost to an hour. That's how good this conversation was. All right, we're down to 1 minute and 15 seconds left. I think we've given the people what they want.
Let's get some questions from our
Okay, do you want to go more? I'll go more. I'll give a shit. I'll go part 3. All right.
I got like 5 more minutes.
Okay, but it's only 50 more seconds. Do you want me to fire it back up?
Yeah,
okay, let's do it. We're going to fire it back up, people. We're going to take some questions. We're going to do Q&A. Part 3 with Matt Belinsky and Doug Reinhardt. Part 3. Let's do it. Part 3, people. We're having too much fun, man. We're having too much fun.
Right. Why not? I mean, let's go round 3.
Doug, it was meant to be. This is my first round 3. Okay.
I'm so honored to be your first round 3.
You are my first round. The fact that we put this together kind of on the fly, it just shows the fucking, yes, Spencer, I do have more wine, thankfully. That's why we're doing round 3.
More wine?
Yeah, 100%. So Doug, you know what we were talking about the last hour, differences in dating and male-female relationships from, the pre-Instagram, pre-dating app era to the dating app era. Let's just be honest, it's 2 completely different universes. And the thing is, all right, we got a question. How did you and Brody Jenner become friends?
Through the show.
Brody, love you, buddy. Shout out to Brody. He's a great guy. I hope to have him on BNN one night. All right, Chanel, throw some questions our way. We need them. All right, what was your BBM name, Doug?
And I don't remember.
Yeah, you do. Come on.
Just Doug, maybe Doug Reinhardt. I really don't know.
What happened with baseball? You were in the. Did you make what? Single A, double A?
I blew up my knee. I had 3 knee surgeries.
Fuck, man.
Two ACLs, microfracture, and I'm like Uncle Rico. I could throw a pigskin over the mountains, you know.
All right, Chanel decided to crank this up to 11. Give us your best Spencer Oliver story.
Oh, oof. My best Spencer Oliver story. Man. There are so many.
The guy's an animal, dude. He like, all right, we'll talk about him generally in a second. Give the best story first.
Hanging from the bars, the top bars, doing the monkey bars and 14, top of 14, and then falls straight on the ground. That's a good one. One time, Spencer took us to an Avicii concert at the Hollywood Bowl. Okay, he bought us me, Smiley, him, bought us tickets in like this little box thing, and he's on mushrooms or something, and he hears one song, he starts tripping out, runs away, and he freaks out on freaks out on us, and we're like, okay, we're staying for the concert, but he's like, you heard one song, you heard them all. And
because the guy's the biggest animal partier of all time, yet like kind of a grandma at the same time. It's like,
and at
Doug, did you pause?
At the opening at Tony Daly's club, I forget the club name. I'm sorry, Tony Daly, but I was giving Tony all this shit about like you gotta top 14, like you gotta bring in live animals. So Tony actually brings in live animals. He brings in like some snakes, some monkeys, and then he brings in a fucking camel, right? He brings in a damn camel. So we're going through the back after and Spencer looks at me and he's like, Doug, let me ride on the camel. I'm like, Spencer, what do you want me to do? I'm not the camel tamer. Like, he's like, Doug, please, let me ride on the camel. And I don't know what to do, Spencer. So he tries to climb on the camel, and I had to give the camel tamer like $100 because to not like have him get in trouble. So.
Oh my God, Spencer, we love you, man, because nobody goes from that big of an animal to that big, like, dude, I want nothing to do with this. Like, nobody goes that range more than you, man. I mean, the guy fucking, he can really throw some flames when he wants to. Okay, so Spencer Oliver's story, all 14.
I'm kind of
okay. Well, here's this. Okay, all right. Here is a weird thing. You had Andy Belinsky's after party for his birthday. You left to Orange County and fucking left forever, like a week later. What the fuck happened?
My stepdad got sick, and I had to take over I had to go to work.
Yeah, I didn't, because I was like, oh shit, we got a great era. We're gonna go, like, we got another 2-3 years of Doug. We're gonna go fucking rip it for a couple of years, and then like, oh shit, Doug sold his house. He moved down to Orange County. It was really disappointing.
Yeah.
But you got to do what you got to do, and I respect your decision. All right, wait, is Mia still watching over in the corner?
Yeah, she's in the other room.
Okay, all right. That's one of my favorite aspects of the BNN experience. If your wife or girlfriend is watching over you, like this is the 4th or 5th time I say something, and like that, whoever my guest spouse is commenting. Okay, would you do reality TV again? Is a question.
No, ever.
Yeah. What did you think of Laguna Beach and all that stuff right when it started?
I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, it's like this guy came to our little town and did a show about a bunch of kids, and it was like, wow, that's cool, I mean,
yeah, it was weird, right?
Like
it was
the first reality show ever. Like, honestly, it was like, what was before that? I mean,
Survivor, that's about it.
Maybe the Survivor or the Simple Life, or that's it.
Yeah. Wait, so what question was I going to ask? Okay. So small town living, you were just there in Laguna Beach. I mean, when you were a kid, or like before this? Sorry, Talon Torriero.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that all about? That was weird.
What about him?
I don't know. How did he become a thing? I feel like he's a kid that you beat up on, but he was just willing to go be on the reality show.
I know the kid. That's exactly what. That says it all. I mean, exactly. I don't know.
You exactly. So that's what happens, and that's what happens in reality shows. The nerds are the early adopters, and then the cool kids are like, all right, the nerds already took all the hits. Now I'm going to come in and clean up.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, fuck. I think we fucking did it. We had
I think we did it, dude. Everybody for coming on, all the old homies. Thanks for coming on.
This was a lot of fun, man. It gives me a lot of it.
Love you, Dean. Love you.
It is bittersweet for me because I missed it. I was sitting there hating on house music and all you guys partying on Sunday nights. The girl who had her birth control that said XIV on Sundays, I fucking talk shit about.
I hated house music too, but I went for another reason. So.
Doug, thank you for staying persistent. Listen, to wrap this up, there was a lot of, here's the great thing about this conversation. There was a lot of fucking really interesting information about the real estate world and about migration patterns of workers and you know, the banking system. And then we took this in an entirely different direction and explored a lot of fun stuff. And, you know, hopefully gave all of our friends a really good time, man. I had a great time. I know you had a great time.
I did.
I hope everybody had a great time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, guys. Peace. Stay safe. And I'll see you when COVID-19 is over, all right? We'll do a 14.
Yes, we will. We will do a 14.
After party at my house, all right?
I love it, dude. We'll take an OC trip. My dad's coming down to see you in Moscow. You and Moscow are going to fight for the number one spot, my dad's number one spot.
We all know who number one is, player. Come on.
Guys, this is so much fun. Doug, I love you, buddy. I love everybody in the comments.
Peace. Love you guys. Thank you.
Later, guys. I always like giving it another second. Yeah, round 4 with Doug would be amazing. Doug's the man. Love that guy. Let's see, we'll just let, dude, Dean, how much fun was that? That was better than anything. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you didn't enjoy this. Give me a break. Okay. Everybody, that was a lot of fun. Oh, wait, someone wants to join. Mikey Appel. Let's keep going. No problem. Oh my God. Wow.
Are we live?
Oh man, dude, what are we talking about?
So live. We are in Doug Reinhardt after hours. We did over 2 hours. Mike Appel with some translucent glasses. Valery Resnick on the mend from his back injury. The guy had a disc injury. He was doing a balance beam, okay, and now he's recovered. You guys look very romantic together. What's going on?
I hurt my back meditating.
Are you?
This is such an honor to be on BBN, guys.
You're fucking telling me it is.
I'm a fan. Did you tell everybody that I helped brand BNN?
BNN, the BNN branding was an interesting phenomenon, which I haven't had the time and the mental space to process how this all happened. But I know you were critical. Like, listen, you're one of my best friends, bro. So of course you were critical to the cause.
Ooh, I was supportive. I was supportive of you from the start.
You were.
I always said you're going to be the next Larry King.
You know something? Even when I hung out with Larry King, which I hope to do again, it felt like I want to be Larry King with better posture.
I'd like to just do a pause for a shout out for Pink Dot. Pink Dot, you're always supplying the wine, and now You know, I hear you're supplying tequila for everyone. You guys stay up, Pink Dot.
Listen. How many businesses in the Los Angeles hospitality world survived for 30 years? Not many. None.
I think
None.
what
Pink
is
Dot, Sol Yamini, an institution in Los Angeles.
isn't it the 1800s?
Yeah, Pink
The
Dot's
18 Listen, in the 1800s in Los Angeles, most of the area that we're in right now was like, you know, Spanish, you know, Catholic missions and what, like Father Junipero Serra, if you were to study California history in the California Public School District. So I don't think he was involved, and there was no Pink Dot. Then the 1978-79 Iranian-American revolution, the revolution in Iran happened. And luckily, a very talented cohort of Iranian individuals came to America. Okay. Luckily, I've been able to befriend many of them. They're small business owners. They're landlords. They're not like Mike Appel, who got me into my first club.
The interesting thing about Pink Dot is that the sign above Pink Dot generates about 800,000% more income than Pink Dot itself, just running advertising space on top of Pink Dot. I don't know if you.
Who gives it? Listen, get the fucking money however you can. Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
I didn't want to.
However you can.
I didn't want
Tony
to.
Yo, Mike Appel.
Yeah.
Listen, you're still in the game. In fact, like, is Tony Daly jealous of you that you have continued on an upswing in your life and your lifestyle, and Tony Daly's kind of retired to, you know, a fucking swamp in Nevada?
Listen, before I get into Tony Daly, I just want to say I only mentioned Pink Dot because I want one of those Pink Dot hoodies, the pink ones.
The fucking hoodies are all types of fire.
Yeah, so hit me up after this. I want a hoodie. But yeah, Tony Daly, dude, that guy's washed up, man. He's washed up, and you know, he moved to Vegas because he couldn't handle LA. Period. That's it. And
this is true.
We're losing viewers, guys. You got to do something more.
We did lose some viewers, but I mean, do you have any idea how hard it is to keep over 50 viewers for 2.5 hours?
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, we're big fans, Matt. We're big fans.
Yeah. No, Jermaine Dupree can't even do that.
Matt, I've tried to reach you. I've tried to text you and like call you recently. I can't even get a hold of you anymore.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
Do I have to reach out to like your publicist, or is there like a booker?
I'm right here.
Who is your booker? Who is your booker?
Sitting right next to you.
I have ideas for how, like, let's go after like some real big political world leaders and shit. You know?
If you can deliver, and I think you've told me you can deliver Kim Jong-un.
Yeah,
He might not be alive, but if he is, I can get him.
KUJ is alive.
he is.
Can you deliver him is the question.
By the way, you got Ron Artest, so that's like the start of everything.
Actually, KUJ and I are doing medical gowns together. So
No, listen. Anyone needs anything in the PPE, if you need to be hygienic, talk to Vito Resnick. Anything. Toilet paper, hand sanitizer, butt plugs, anything. Go to Vito.
Vito's got a lot of stock on K95, specifically a lot of 3M products, and he's your go-to for any PPE needs.
I'm a solutions hub for the front lines.
You're a frontline type of guy. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I'm like a masked vigilante with a K95 mask.
Wait. Anna Kichichian, the TMZ Anna Kichichian says that we should slide into Kim Jong-un's sister's DMs. What do you guys think?
I think absolutely. That sounds like a great idea.
Okay. What's her name? Like, what is anyone named Kim? What's their sister's name? Like Ken? Ken Jong-un?
If the guy's name's Kim, then absolutely the woman's name would be Ken.
Yeah, I think we nailed it right there. Mike, there's a reason that you were promoting privilege in 2003. You're ahead of the game.
It's a North Korean thing. Simple as that.
Yeah, give it the program.
What activity are you guys doing tonight? You two?
We were watching the Michael Jordan documentary, episode 10 for the 7th time in a row.
I think I was very right in saying the other night that the Last Dance documentary was an act of God.
Most timely thing that's ever happened.
Could you imagine for the male species, the male? Do you know how much violence was saved by
By releasing that documentary during this time? Unbelievable.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
We were just talking about, Mikey and I, we were just talking about America was the best in the 90s in every possible way.
Oh yeah, it was the Pax Americana for sure.
Yeah. I mean, think about how much less depression there was in the 90s. People were happy. They weren't distracted. It was just your town and your team and your pride. And there wasn't all this social media bullshit. You didn't know people in other cities. You just focused on you and your tribe and your team. And there's pride everywhere you went.
Well, Vito, I mean, then you got to remember the 80s. If you want to talk American pride, the 80s were beautiful. Oh
Yeah,
my.
you're doing bad.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to say, rest in peace, Jerry Sloan.
Jerry Sloan, rest in peace.
Yo, Jerry Sloan, listen, that was a guy who took no shit. There were no participation trophies in Jerry Sloan's world. Okay. In fact, you didn't, if you participated and you didn't succeed, he would try to destroy your soul. Rightfully so. Okay. We need more Jerry Sloans. We need less parents who don't raise their kids like Jerry Sloan. You know, listen, we're going to need some parents who really like shit on their kids.
Yeah.
All these parents being too nice to their kids, it's fucking everybody up.
In the 90s, everyone was rich, even poor people. That's a fact.
It's interesting. R.I.P. Jerry Sloan. You know, the fact that he spent so much time in Utah, I'm a little suspicious about. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys still watching episode 10?
Yeah, episode 10. I've already seen it. Vito just turned it on, so I by default was watching it again. But it's so good. It's like Shawshank Redemption for the documentarian.
It's fantastic. Yeah, Shawshank Redemption. Here's the weird. Do you realize Shawshank Redemption is the only successful movie that doesn't have a female character? The only two successful movies ever that have zero female characters.
Other than Hook.
Reservoir Dogs.
Too.
Shawshank Redemption.
Reservoir Dogs.
You know, I've never even thought about that. The fact that Shawshank has no women. The only part that has a woman is like in the beginning where
that's not even a character.
It's the
it's not even
singing.
a character though. You're right. It's
There's
just a
only
scene.
there's a scene, but the woman singing.
That is not an actual character. The film The Shawshank Redemption actually has zero feminine energy nor female character, period. The only other movie like that is successful in the contemporary age is The Reservoir Dogs. Those are the only two movies.
Yeah. Well, I hear that they're doing a Shawshank Part 2. I think Steve Ponce is producing it.
If they do, I will find whoever is producing it. I will grab them and I'm going to stick their head in a toilet after someone's flushed it until they drown. Because if they fuck that up and they shit on a sanctified...
You're not making Shawshank. You're also, although we want it, maybe we don't, you're also not making Back to the Future again.
No. If anyone tries to make Back to the Future again, I'm going to find them. I'm going to not do it myself. I'm going to have someone else shave their testicles and drop it in a bath of grain alcohol so it stings really badly. Because anyone who tries to fuck with Back to the Future is a disgusting person.
Okay. How about Bill and Ted's coming out this summer?
No,
I'm a little skeptical.
Is it really?
I'm a little skeptical.
Is it Keanu? Is it Keanu?
Oh yeah, it's Keanu, absolutely.
Bill and Ted.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, when they tried to remake Dumb and Dumber.
No, don't fuck with my shit. Don't fuck with our shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Once an amazing film comes out, it becomes ours. It's not yours anymore. It's ours. Don't screw with our movie.
You can't monetize on it anymore. That's it.
No.
I mean, it's hard to name a sequel that actually was better than the original, right?
You can't remake those You can't remake Shawshank. You can't remake Pulp Fiction. You can't remake Forrest Gump.
No.
Back to the Future is at 80s. But
it's terrible. It's a sign of a decadent and decrepit and redundant culture, and it disgusts me.
I did hear that they're gonna make another Jurassic Park with that with the guy that's been in all the photos. That COVID guy.
I'm going to go ahead and say this. Anyone who's remaking any film period at all right now is a completely untalented, worthless individual. No more remakes. I legitimately would not, you know, I don't want the government making too many rules. If the government, you think, oh, Matt's drunk. That's like fucking really, that's a really insightful, you know, profound observation. I think the government should mandate, if you propose to make a remake or a sequel of a film for the next 10 years, you are banned from ever utilizing the internet, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless it's like Transformers 97 or X-Men 54.
Yeah, those are obviously totally like worthwhile, valuable cultural contributions.
Yeah. Listen, I think we should really, you know, make the last part of every episode about, you know,
Hold on a second.
entertainment. And
When do you think it's appropriate to do a COVID documentary? What year?
that's 5.
May 2020.
Yeah, I know, right?
Vito, I'm not going to reveal. I'm going to sign off on this because I have to use the restroom. I'm going to sign. If you had any idea what podcast may be in the works to discuss potential Mykonos options this summer, the walls would crash down around you.
The Greeks handled this really well because they were just preparing for summer. They're like
They
we're all
have to protect the tourism. Yeah.
They had to.
So I'm going to tease that. I'm going to tease the potential Mykonos 2020 podcast. I'm not going to tell you who it's with. We'll see if it comes through.
Mykonos.
Everybody, thank you to my overtime guests, Vitaly Resnick, a.k.a. Valerie, Mike Appel,
Valeri.
the yin to the Dave Appel yang, also the guy who got me into my first club, the most famous resident ever of the city of Calabasas. I don't give a shit that Drake lives there. Everybody, thank you very much. This was a lot of fun.
It's been an honor. It's been an honor, BNN. Thanks for having us.
BNN.
Over and
No
out.
problem, guys.
I'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
For
Pink
sure.
dot.
Bye, guys.
Later, bud.
No, Craig David Mykonos every year. Anything having to do with Craig David, I am a supporter of. Let's give it another second, see if there's any interesting questions, and we'll close it out. Don't try to troll me. That was the most fun 2.5 hours you've had since this entire situation started. I know Bill Clinton, and he's from Arkansas. I think we're done. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. I'll talk to you soon. That was a lot of fun.